Another day, another Nintendo Direct. Oh, hey guys, it's been a while. And been a while as in, I haven't posted a lot recently. And that's because I'm working on a semi-big project that's basically almost done. So, but before I send that out, I want to send out my predictions on this Nintendo Direct because Nintendo just announced their Nintendo Direct this morning, and I'm kind of late to the party because I have things to do, and I didn't really get time to record this, and I had to write a script and stuff like that, but we're here, and I have some jotted details of what we can expect from this Nintendo Direct, my predictions, my hopes, what we could see. Maybe there's a couple surprises. Before we get started, I just want to let you guys know that I'm not going to include many third parties, if not at all, because when it comes to third parties, it's pretty unpredictable. You never know. We could see a Master Chief Collection, or we can just see another random port. But I do have maybe one or two third parties in this list. But let's get into the meat and the potatoes of this discussion. So let's start with the first party lineup. Now, let's start with the previously announced Nintendo games. The stuff that we already know. So, usually when we have a Direct, they will feature some of the games they announced into more depth like they did, like all Nintendo Directs. So I think we're going to see games like Metroid Dread, maybe some gameplay. We're going to see Mario Party Superstars. Maybe we'll see Advance Wars. We'll see... that kind of stuff, where those games have already been announced in the E3 Direct, but I think in this one, they're going to show it off, because if we looked at the Nintendo Direct banner, they said it's going to be 40 minutes of games announced within this holiday, but what they really mean is within their fiscal year, which is from now to March. So if it's from now to March, they said a majority of the games are going to be focused on from now to March because they want to set up their holiday lineup. So if they want to set up their holiday lineup, that means most of the games here shown are going to be within a 6-month time window. So that's why I say they're mostly going to focus on stuff like Metroid Dread, Mario Party Superstars, stuff like that. So I think we'll definitely see some gameplay for Metroid Dread. We're going to see some gameplay for Mario Party Superstars, and maybe get a date on Advance Wars. And so that's pretty much it for the previously announced games. Now let's go to the previously announced games that have not had that they've had an announcement, but they've not had any concrete release date or shown any gameplay. So they showed off Splatoon 3 in the E3 2021 Direct. Now, I think Splatoon 3, if it's going to stay on the Nintendo Switch family of systems, I think it has a good shot of coming out maybe sometime next year, maybe summer 2022 or maybe fall 2022, I think. Because Splatoon 2 came out like 2018, 17, I don't remember. I think it was 18. So I think they've had enough time to work on Splatoon 3. I think realistically it could come out maybe spring, summer of next year. But I don't think it's gonna be here because they just announced it. And I think they want to focus mostly on a Metroid Dread and stuff like that. So Shin Megami Tensei 5. They had a showcase of Shin Megami Tensei 5. They had a drop date. They showed some gameplay. I think Shin Megami Tensei 5, I think they already had a drop date. I don't remember, but Shin Megami Tensei 5, maybe we'll see like a small chunk of it somewhere because they want to get people to play that. It looks really good. It kind of trying to lean more like they have the Persona aspects into this Shin Megami Tensei series. It would be nice if Atlus decided to port Persona 5, but I don't think that's coming. I think Persona 5 is going to stay on the PlayStation systems for a little bit longer, but I do think it has a chance of migrating to other platforms. And Breath of the Wild 2. Now, Breath of the Wild 2 is an interesting one because, yeah, they showed it off during the E3 2021 Direct. And it's been a while because probably Breath of the Wild original game has been in development since the Wii U era. Came out in 2017. It's been 3 or so years. And since Breath of the Wild 2 is using the same engine that Breath of the Wild is using, I do think that the development time will be much shorter. And since they're developing on the Switch for the Switch, it shouldn't really take as long as the original Breath of the Wild did. But I think it realistically could come out next year. I don't think we'll see much gameplay. I think maybe we'll see gameplay, and maybe we'll get like holiday 2022. I think it'll come out holiday 2022. That would be a great holiday game. I don't think it'll come out this year because we haven't seen any gameplay. So I do think we will see Breath of the Wild 2 gameplay, but we will not get it until next year. All right. I'm going to go briefly over this one, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. That game that was shown off also at the E3 Direct. That game could also have a little bit, a small segment, so maybe we can check that out. And maybe that game will come out this year, maybe their fiscal year, Nintendo's fiscal year. And the last game on my list, the one that's been a mystery, like Shin Megami Tensei 5, and I'm pretty sure you've heard others speak of this as well, but I'm talking about Bayonetta 3. Well, I'm not a really big Bayonetta fan, but I understand how people feel, because like Shin Megami Tensei 5, this game got like announced really early on in Switch's lifespan, and it's been a long time, almost like 3-ish years since that announcement. And Shin Megami Tensei 5 was announced before the Switch is even revealed or even sold. But they had gameplay, they have a release date, it's already set to go. So, but when it comes to Bayonetta 3, the best we've seen was a logo 2 years ago. It was just a logo. And it's very concerning. I know a lot of people are very concerned about the condition of this game. Is it going through development hell, stuff like that? Well, we all know that Hideki Kamiya said everything's going okay. You guys are just freaking out over nothing. But seriously, something could be happening in Platinum Games. Because don't get me wrong, I do respect those guys a lot, but I mean, they had to use like crowdfunding to get Wonderful 101 on the Switch, and working stuff around with Square Enix on Nier and Astral Chain. So I mean, I don't know what's going on internally in Platinum Games, but something seriously must be up if they don't show anything, because it's been a long time, and I think by now we would have seen at least some sort of gameplay, but that's not true. We haven't seen nothing, so that's very concerning. And I think if it does not show up on this Nintendo Direct, then that game's in real big trouble. But I do think it has a good chance of showing up as long as everything's going well. It should be on the Nintendo Direct. All right. Now, that's basically what I think prediction-wise. Like concrete stuff we already know. But now we're going to get into predictions. Now, my predictions, I think most of my predictions here, they're kind of predictions, but they also have like ties of hope and stuff like that, because the stuff I'm predicting, it's very niche within my personal favorite genres, and it could be true, but the stuff I want to be in it may not be true. And the first game I'm going to talk about on my prediction list is a new Kirby game. Now, I'm like the Kirby man, so I love it when a new Kirby game comes out. I wish they could like up the difficulty a little bit more, but I understand why. The whole reason why Kirby floats is in the air because it's supposed to be like a casual side-scroller, but that's not the point. What I'm thinking is, it's been about 3 years since Superstar Ultra. I mean, Star Allies. Did I say Superstar Ultra? Yeah, Star Allies. And I think then HAL Laboratory has said they really wanted to like get to the next level of what Kirby can do. So maybe we could see a 3D Kirby game like the Kirby 64, the Crystal Shards, but Kirby 64 was more like, it was kind of like the same side-scroller deal, but with 3D models. I want to see like a 3D, like full-on 3D Kirby game where you can like walk around and control the camera and stuff like that. That would be like the next jump in Kirby. So I want to see like a Kirby evolution. If I see a jump from 2D to 3D, that would blow my mind. And I honestly don't even need to see any gameplay. I just want to know that this game exists. A title would be nice. I'm thinking maybe if it does happen, I'm thinking maybe spring, summer 2022. And yeah, that'd be really good. I hope we see a Kirby game at this Nintendo Direct. Hopefully it's a 3D Kirby game, not like the 2D, because in my opinion, Star Allies was pretty easy because you just get a ragtag team of 3 CPUs right there, and basically you just steamroll through the entire game. It's not really that fun. I'd personally want a little bit more challenge. I'd appreciate it if HAL Laboratory added like a normal and a hard difficulty and made it less reliant on others, so you can just go on with Kirby, but that's getting too much into it. Right now, let's move on with the predictions. So, my second prediction, this is more of a me thing, but I'm hoping we see some sort of a Xenoblade representation in this Direct, whether it be Xenoblade Chronicles X Port, Xenoblade Chronicles X Remaster, or Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Now, I'm not sure if this is the case, but I think Monolith Soft is hiring like more people for a special project or something. Like, we all know Monolith contributes to Breath of the Wild, and yeah, that's true, but they like divide their teams, so we can see their Breath of the Wild development team doing that. And I think there was a separate development team for Definitive Edition, Xenoblade Definitive Edition. So I think the Monolith Soft guys, they're working on something. Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Xenoblade Chronicles X, something. We have to see something. Now, personally, I would just, my mind would explode if we got Kirby and Xenoblade Chronicles 3, because Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was by far my favorite game on the Switch, and it was the beginning was kind of boring, but it got really good towards Chapter 6, but let's forget about that. Right now, I just hope we can see Xenoblade Chronicles 3, because if Xenoblade Chronicles 3, I just bust the fattest nut, man, because that game is incredible. Those guys, everybody at Monolith Soft is super talented, and we'll see like super great stuff. And yeah, I just hope we get to see some representation tomorrow. That would be excellent. I'd love to see it. Now, let's talk about Smash. I definitely 100% believe we will see The Last Fighter, because I'm pretty sure they capped their release date for Fighters to winter 2021, like the end of 2021, and unless there's a delay, which I doubt it, there's no. Sakurai and his team have been doing this for almost a year. They know what they're doing, so I do think I see two scenarios of how this is going to work. Scenario one is they do it like they did with Kazuya. They show off the Smash character in the beginning or at the end of the Nintendo Direct. Or, and this is a big or, what they can do is while in the Direct, they say a new Smash character is going to be announced, and then they have like this, tune in to Mr. Sakurai presents Mystery Final Fighter. And that could be another case too, but I hope that's not the case, because I just want to know who it is right now. This is the last fighter, and it's just really exciting to know who the last one is, because this fighter is going to be very important, very crucial. At least that's what I hope, because this is the last fighter. There is no Fighters Pass 3. I guarantee you there's not going to be a Fighters Pass 3. Like, even a Fighters Pass 2, that was a miracle. I don't think we're going to see a Fighters Pass 3. That'd be awesome if they add, like, an extra character out of Fighters Pass 2. But I don't think that's going to happen, because, I mean, Sakurai and his team has been working like crazy these past couple years, ever since they released Ultimate in 2018. And, I do think that an extra fighter after Fighters Pass 2 I would appreciate it, but I won't complain if we don't see it. But besides the point, ultimately, we need to answer the big question of the day. Who's going to be? Now, Sakurai has blatantly stated that this is going to be the last fighter. And naturally, this fighter has to be a banger. At least that's what I would think, and I hope that's what Sakurai thinks. We need something that'll break the internet more like Steve did. So, honestly, I do not think we will get another big banger like Steve. Because if you really think about it, what other character can triumph Steve? Maybe Roblox Man, maybe Jonesy from Fortnite, but that's not happening. Because those are really recent entries, and those are like, that's not really within the sphere of what we're doing. So, personally, I would, the character I would want, this isn't more of a prediction, this is more of a hope. The character I hope to see, though it's not going to happen, is Waluigi. Now, I say making Waluigi a fighter is very important for two reasons. One, he would destroy the internet more than Steve. Not only because it'll be the first time in Smash history that an assist trophy is also a playable fighter in the same game, because, some of the assist trophies were playable in future games, but I'm talking about an assist trophy that's also a fighter. So that'll like break another so-called rule. But it'll also show that side characters like Waluigi, who has no official game attached to his name, like nothing, can be a Smash fighter. So that would be insane. Imagine that. A side character. He doesn't even have his own game. He's a side character in a side franchise of the Mario spin-off. So he's a side character in a Mario spin-off. Think about that for a second. Wario, he has his own series, the Wario Land, that it's been dormant ever since the Game Boy era. But and the WarioWare series. Now, Wario recently got a new game, WarioWare Shake It Up or whatever. And, I mean, not Shake It Up, Get It Together. And Mario has been getting games, Luigi is getting his own games, but Waluigi, Waluigi was created by Camelot, which is the studio that usually makes the Mario Sports series. So, Mario, and Luigi were made in Japan, but Waluigi was made, like, on the West, in Camelot. So, he doesn't really get the same representation that the other Mario characters do. And I think having Waluigi in here would totally change the game. Because imagine Waluigi as a fighter. That would be so cool. Now, that's just my personal opinions. I don't think he's gonna get in because Sakurai he's more of like following the history of games, whereas Waluigi is just a meme character that everybody wants in. I think it would be really special if we got Waluigi inside, but I wouldn't complain because I wanted Pyra and Mythra, and in the original Fighters Pass, when we didn't get Pyra and Mythra, like my heart broke in two. But when we got Pyra and Mythra in the second Fire Smash, I just got satisfied. Like, I wish you guys could have seen my reaction. I went crazy when I saw that. But I would go even crazier if Waluigi would get in, because it's not only a character that broke through the shackles of an assist trophy, it's also symbolic of characters who aren't that important to the series of a game, but they're special enough that they can get into Smash. So that's why I personally would want Waluigi. But realistically, we could see someone like, I don't know, Sora from Kingdom Hearts, though that's not really a realistic prediction. Master Chief maybe, though I don't think that's gonna happen. Crash Bandicoot, the usual picks that everybody's proclaiming about. But usually those characters who are surfacing on the internet, those ones that people talk about, most of the time they're not official fighters. They're just speculation, because nobody thought Kazuya would get into Smash, nobody thought Byleth would get into Smash, nobody thought Pyra Mythra would get into Smash, nobody thought Steve get into Smash, stuff like that. Nobody talks about those things. Sometimes, they talk about it on 4chan and stuff like that, but nobody really follows 4chan because there's so many different forum posts that you just don't know. But the top characters that everybody talks about, usually it doesn't happen, and that's coming from 2 Fighters Paths worth of experience. So I'm just saying that the fighter is going to be unpredictable, but at the same time, let's really think about this. This is the last Fighters Pass. It's kind of bittersweet, isn't it? Because it's kind of the end of an era where this is the ultimate Smash. Nothing's ever going to trump this game. So, seeing this as the last fighter, I don't know, it's kind of sad that the waking up really early, really late, just to watch the newest character get dropped, you get super hyped. It's just been like a culture. And I mean, after this, what's he gonna do? I mean, don't get me wrong, Sakurai definitely deserves a break. He's a hardworking man, and I definitely think he does deserve a break. But at the same time, it's sad for us fans to see the game ending like this. But ultimately, I think it's in everyone's best decision if this character was the last one. Alright. Those are my safe predictions as far as speculation goes. Now, let's get into my speculation along with some sources from the internet. But recently we've heard a lot of rumors for the past couple months about a pseudo revamp on the Nintendo Switch Online service. And, you know, maybe adding stuff like Game Boy Color, or even N64, you know, that could happen. Now, recently, within like the past couple days, Nintendo filed a patent for N64 controller. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't really looked into it. I just heard that they have filed a patent for some sort of N64 related item, which I think is the N64 controller, some sort of N64 controller, and the FCC was supposed to officially publish this patent this Friday. So naturally, when this direct got announced today, it was pretty obvious that, then, you know, ever since that patent has been floating in the air, it was pretty obvious that a direct was going to be announced this week, because why would they just release a patent without showing it off? So I definitely did expect a Nintendo Direct to get announced. So I definitely think we will see N64 for sure. Now, it's not going to work the way we want it to. It's going to be in the NSO sphere of stuff where they have like those services. Now, I'm not really too keen on NSO because, me personally, I don't think you get much value out of it, because yeah, you get a good library of NES and SNES games, and you get not so good online, but I'm not really a retro guy, so in Nintendo's idea, it's a good value because you get a ton of retro games from NES, SNES, and you get online and maybe special promotions, which don't happen that often, for $20 a year. As of now, I think the Nintendo Switch Online service is kind of trash. It definitely needs rework, and with this N64, I do think that Nintendo thinks this is too much of a value if they put in N64, because think about it, Nintendo really values their IPs a lot. They never drop prices on their stuff unless it's like the holidays, and it's very temporary. So this is not going to stay at $20. Something's going to happen. Now, what I think is going to happen is they're going to make like a low tier NSO and a high tier NSO, or maybe like some other tiers, with the low tier NSO being the same SNES, NES. Maybe they're going to add Game Boy Advance, and maybe like the higher echelon tier will have N64 or maybe GameCube. Though I don't think we're going to see GameCube until for a while. But, you know, GameCube, N64, Game Boy Color, you know, stuff like that. And I think it'll be maybe $30 USD. I don't know. I'm not really so keen on retro, so I stopped subscribing to NSO because I really don't see the point in it. I mean, you play Smash, you play Splatoon, you play Mario Party, but I mean, for what you get, it's not really that great. So I hope they address NSO's issues, and they don't just make it where they add a higher tier and say, oh, we got N64, you better cough up a couple more, some more money. I think, I know that with the Monster Hunter Rise, they like updated their server, so the connection runs smoother. So I hope that they talk about that. They make the connection smoother. They have the online promotion deals, because with PlayStation Plus and games with Gold, usually those games are much better in quality and they get released monthly. So yeah, PlayStation Plus and games with Gold is way more expensive than the traditional NSO, but I mean, they're consistent, and that's the key. Consistency, which, I should do for my channel, but I think consistency is the most important aspect of this, and their PlayStation Plus and games with Gold are consistent for the most part. They drop their games every month, a good solid 3 or 4 games every month, and they may not be the games you like, but they're consistent. Now, with Nintendo Switch Online, in the beginning they said, all right, we're going to drop a game every month, every 3 months or so, and they did it for the first couple months, but they just drop it whenever they want now, and I think that's very irresponsible. They should definitely stick to a schedule, and they should pump out quality titles. That's actually more important than how frequent they do it, because not only are they infrequent when they post NES, SNES, the titles of the games, I mean, don't get me don't take my opinion too seriously, because I'm not a retro guy, but I do think the quality of the Nintendo Switch Online games aren't that great, because they add games that some of you never even heard of. I'm not really going to get into specifications, because I don't remember the names of the games, hence why it's like, come on. So basically, to sum everything up, I just want to make sure that, yes, they will probably have multiple tiers. They're probably going to drop N64. It'll be really ironic if they add Super Mario 64, because we just got in 3D All-Stars, but I do think that we're going to see that. And I mean, that's pretty much it. We're definitely going to see N64. Maybe we'll see Game Boy Color, split subscription tiers. I hope they address their issues. Maybe add more, the services. Maybe more game trials. Stuff. I do think we need more game trials and more quality game trials. Or I think we should just keep it, but I guess Nintendo's Nintendo, so that's that. Now let's get back to software. Here's a wild prediction. GTA representation. So a couple of weeks ago or a couple of months ago, we've seen some sort of like GTA Trilogy Switch stuff listed somewhere. I don't remember exactly, and it's a trilogy of GTA 3, GTA San Andreas, and GTA Vice City. We could see GTA. We could see GTA 5. I mean, GTA 5's been on 3 console generations. So, I think if it's been on 3 console generations, like, why can't they put it on the Switch? I mean, we should definitely see some sort of GTA. I mean, it's been a long time, and I mean, it wouldn't hurt Rockstar's bank if they just put GTA on the Switch. I mean, it's a pretty successful game, almost up at a Tetris level. So, I do think GTA should be there. I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't there, but I do think it should be there because, I mean, GTA. I mean, it's GTA. Like, how is it not going to be there? Now, back to the hardware aspect. Nintendo may have like a short segment on the Nintendo Switch OLED model, maybe a brief but more in-depth look into the console, like, the 7.1 inch display. Maybe they'll showcase the games on the Nintendo Switch OLED. They'll talk about, the chip shortage means we're not going to have so and its amount of Switch models or whatever. I do think maybe they'll talk about it, but if they do, it's going to be really short. Or when they showcase games, they're going to have like a little asterisk that says, this is running on a Nintendo Switch OLED model, which, let's be honest, we all know from the Switch OLED discussions back then that it's the same the hardware, like the physical hardware, it's the same. They're both running the Tegra X1. They both have the same screen. I mean, what am I saying? They both have the same screen resolution. It's the same internals, but in the last Switch firmware update, they did add the ability to update the dock, which potentially means if the dock really is an upgraded dock, we could see like stable 1080p. I think just stable 1080. I was gonna say like maybe jump 1440p, but I don't think it's gonna jump upscale to 1440p. I think maybe solid 1080p would be good, because solid resolution, solid frame rate is what we're looking for, and that would be great. But that's that when it comes to Switch OLED. I do hope we get to see like, well, at this point, I don't think we're going to see a Switch Pro. I think the next time we see a Switch Pro is like Switch Successor. The Switch Successor has a lot of catching up to do. So I look forward to seeing that later. Now, let's finish this up with some of my personal hopes. These are games that we'll probably never see the light of day, but I'm just waiting until if they show up. That'd be really cool. Now, one of the first games I'm going to talk about is an obscure game. Most people haven't really heard of it, or if they have, they just pushed it to the sidelines. It's similar to the Miitopia franchise. I'm talking about Tomodachi Life. Now, I hope we can see like a Tomodachi Life 2 or a Tomodachi Life Plus or something like that, because this game has been such an integral part of my childhood. I love making the Miis, watching them live their daily lives, stuff like that. But the 3DS Tomodachi Life, it was pretty lackluster when it comes to how much interaction you could do. I mean, the news segments were pretty witty with their segments, but once you play the game for as long as I have, because I could have put like at least 300 to 400 hours on this game. I'll have to check later, but you play this game for that long enough time, and you see the newscast. I mean, it kind of gets, you kind of find like the formula to how they write their segments, and it kind of gets a little stale. Another point really is just the basic interaction, because the lack of interactive mini games. Because with the original Tomodachi Life, I think they had like one, and that was the little quest you can play on the little island. I haven't played this game in a long time, but that was pretty much it. And it was that mini game was, I don't know, it was pretty predictable, because you just follow two paths, you press buttons, and you get like some sort of food item, whatever. That's pretty much it, and it was only available certain days of the week, so it was pretty limited in what you can do. So my ideal Tomodachi Life 2. Now, okay, before I keep going, I just want to let you guys know that this is like, actually, never mind. This is just my hopes and stuff. So please don't really shoot me down on this. This is just my personal opinion on what I hope to see. But how I think a Tomodachi Life sequel could work is like maybe expand it. Instead of like an island, now with the Switch's power, because the Switch is significantly stronger than the 3DS, we can instead of just a small island, we can upgrade it to like an urban setting, like a city, or we can have a more suburban setting, or a rural setting, or we can have both, because who doesn't like both? Now, I do, in addition to an expansion of where you can settle your bees, I do think we should have more, random activities, and we should be able to interact with them a little bit more. One of the key aspects, I think, is being able to control your Mii, like physically control your Mii with the joystick, where you can like walk around, what's that game? The Wii U game. The one that came prepackaged with I totally forgot, like Nintendo Land, something like that. The Nintendo Land, where you can like walk your Mii around the plaza. Well, if they like make it, you can walk around the city, make it kind of like mini GTA or something like that. That would be incredible. I mean, you walking around the city with your Mii character and talking to other Miis, that is impossible. But it's just like the synapses in my brain are just getting super excited talking about this. Kind of like The Sims. And for sure, they had to bring the Miitopia customization, because the customization was pretty lackluster, both in the original Miitopia and Tomodachi Life 2. With this Miitopia's little makeup edition, people were able to make so many different Miis, and the amount of Miis that look really good, like realistic people and objects, it's just mind-blowing. So we should definitely have to see that upgraded character customization. So overall, I just want my Tomodachi Life 2 to be a little more witty and realistic in simulating an unrealistic but quirky world. That's basically to sum it up. Alright, next. It's been a while since we've had a new Mario Kart game. Yep, that's right, Mario Kart. I don't think we're going to see Mario Kart, but it's been a long, long time. 2014 was a long time ago, and I do think it's time for a new Mario Kart. But Nintendo's been milking this cow for years, and it hasn't shown any signs of slowing down because people love Mario Kart. It's instantly recognizable. I mean, you go to the store, you see Mario Kart on the shelf, everybody plays Mario Kart. It's one of the best-selling games on the Switch. So I don't think we're going to see Mario Kart, but I personally think we needed like an evolution of the Mario Kart series, because when we went from 7 to 8, they were the whole concept was like anti-gravity. That's why they had like the little 8 infinity sign. But we need like a new Mario Kart, because Mario Kart 8 was built for the Wii U architecture. The Switch is slightly more powerful than the Wii U. So if we can build a Mario Kart that's like catered to the Switch, we can make it like optimized. Everything will work perfectly for the Switch. We get like slightly better graphics, new tracks, new music tracks, new characters. Maybe we can make like a Smash Mario Kart. I think I said that in like an earlier predictions of the E3 Direct. We can make like a Smash Kart where we can have like multiple characters from different series in Mario Kart, but that wouldn't really make sense. But all I'm saying is Mario Kart. I don't think it's happening, but we should definitely see it. Now, another thing that could happen, but very unlikely going to happen, is a Fire Emblem game. Now, I know people have been clowning on Fire Emblem ever since Melee, but with Three Houses, it really shifted the sphere of what people thought of Fire Emblem, because before Three Houses, everybody just thought Fire Emblem was just another anime swords game, waifu simulator stuff, which, for the record, I'm not going to deny it. It's true, and I'm guilty of being a part of that. But I do think the hostility towards the Fire Emblem series has gone down in the past few years, ever since Three Houses, because Three Houses was a great gateway into the Fire Emblem series for someone who's been watching from the sidelines, criticize and say, what's this all about? And they go play it. Now they kind of appreciate it more, and I do think the next Fire Emblem game will be well received, way more than the previous ones. But I don't think we're going to see like a new, like physically new entry into the Fire Emblem series just yet. An announcement could be possible, though it's very unlikely. But what I do think could happen, because like I said earlier in the beginning, this is going to be a showcase of games coming out within the fiscal year of Nintendo, which is from now in September till March. So definitely we're not going to see a new Fire Emblem announcement. What we could see, though, is an Echoes. Now, for those of you who don't know, there is a version of Fire Emblem called Fire Emblem Echoes, and Echoes is kind of like remaking old games. They made one previously on the 3DS called Shadows of Fire Emblem Echo Shadows of Valentia, which is a remake of the second Fire Emblem game released in Japan only, but they fully remade it with new character models, new voice acting, revised gameplay. And I think we could see an Echoes, like a revised game from the Fire Emblem series that's been locked in Japan, because I think Fire Emblem 1 through Fire Emblem 7, correct me if I'm wrong, I think within that realm, there's a lot of Fire Emblem games that are still not officially localized to English. And I do think the Echoes banner could definitely be a great way for not only new fans, but old fans to get into the older series of games that are still technically landlocked in Japan. But just like Mother, everything's been unofficially localized. So if you want to play one of them, you can just download the ROM if you really want to. Though I wouldn't recommend it, but you can and play the game. And I do think if they make an Echoes, that would be really cool. But before I keep moving on, speaking of Mother, that's not happening. So don't get your dreams up. But going back to Fire Emblem, I do think we could see a Fire Emblem Echoes. More specifically, I hope we could see like a Genealogy of the Holy War plus Thracia 776, or one of each, or both. Kind of like you know how Pokemon does it, where they have like a one version and another version. They could have Genealogy of the Holy War and Thracia 776, but having at least one would be good. Just an Echoes would be amazing, because I've heard that Genealogy of the Holy War and Thracia 776, which are both in the same world, they have like a really dark setting, and that'd be really cool to see how the modern day intelligence systems staff will adapt it into the new modern way. So one last point that I'll make before I end this video is a game that's been quiet for past 7 years, though technically they've had a port on the Nintendo Switch. And what I'm talking about is Donkey Kong. Now, I'm not really a Donkey Kong guy either, but I think that Donkey Kong needs a new game. Maybe a 3D, jump to 3D too, kind of like Kirby, because the last new Donkey Kong game was Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, and that one came out in 2014 on the Wii U. And yeah, they had a port onto the Switch, but that's not like that's just a port. I think Donkey Kong should get a new game, whether it be a 2D action platformer or a 3D action platformer. I do think Donkey Kong should get a new game, but it's pretty obscure. Not a lot of people know Donkey Kong because, Donkey Kong's been pretty dormant, and I don't think we're not going to see it, but it would be greatly appreciated. And speaking of things that have been pretty dormant, let's talk about F-Zero. Now, F-Zero is something that we will probably not see, but I think it should happen, because I think the last F-Zero was on the Wii, the GameCube, the Wii, somewhere on there. I think it was on the GameCube. So it's been a good, at least a decade plus, since we've had a new F-Zero game. Now, I'm not an F-Zero guy because, it's an older game. I don't really dabble in the old games, but I do think we should introduce F-Zero to the new kids, because the guys playing Smash who's Captain Falcon? I'd personally like to know a little bit more about Captain Falcon and all that type of stuff. So a new F-Zero would be cool, though I doubt we'd see it. And that's pretty much it in terms of what I think could happen. Now, out of my predictions, do I personally think that any of them could come true? Yes, I definitely do. Now, my concrete predictions, I'm pretty sure all of those will come true. But when it comes to my, how should I say, soft foundation predictions, I don't think most of them will come true, because most of what I want to see is kind of like either not going to be seen at least till next year, or it's within the realm of fantasy. But I'd love to be wrong. Now, tomorrow will be very exciting, because we'll see if I'm right or if I'm wrong. And I hope to see great third parties, because third parties are half the show. Yeah, you can have all the first parties if you have no third parties, you're like, what's the point? That's kind of the reason why I kind of like PlayStation more than Xbox, because PlayStation has more unique third parties, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about Nintendo. So I do think we'll see some great third parties. I hope we get some good representations from both Western developers and Eastern developers. Maybe we'll throw in a good indie game, and that's pretty much it. So that's all for me and my predictions. Thank you guys for watching. And I will be back tomorrow to have my live reaction to the Nintendo Direct, 40 minutes of goodness. I'm not sure if I just want to go live all the way 40-minute video, or if I should just chop it up and get the highlights, my personal highlights. It could be either or. You'll just have to wait and see. So, I'll see you tomorrow, I guess. So, take care, everyone. And I'll catch you tomorrow. So, I hope you guys have a great day. Take care, everyone.